Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we're going to be creating our data source that's going to be providing us all the data that we need to populate our collection view. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to create a new file, and this file is we can create it as Swift file, and I'm going to call this collection data source. All right, and import from foundation is good. Now we're going to create our collection data source class, and we're going to need three variables. We're going to need emoji data or emojis. This is going to be an empty array of emoji type, so we're going to populate this in a bit. I'm creating immutable emojis in case if we need it. So let's create it. If we need to store um, any temporary values, we can actually store them here, but I don't think we're going to need that. Um, and we may comment it out, but uh, you could some of the examples, like, where you could use an immutable version of your original um, or basically make this immutable and use this one as your main working uh, data source, is basically when you're doing search and stuff. That's something. Or if you're actually moving stuff around, then you can actually store your original content inside immutable and then change content in the like, modify content in the emoji one, and then once you're ready to reset, you can simply populate your emojis with immutable emojis. That's what it was for, but I don't think we're gonna need it. Honestly, we can actually just delete it. When we need it, we'll just create it that time. We're definitely gonna need section category. So section category or categories, and this is going to be an array of string. Okay. Now we need few functions. We can either create, like, count as a function, or we can create a total count as a property. So count is something that we're going to use basically for how many elements are there in this data source. So we're going to use this value to return number of items in the collection view. So we can create as a property. So record count of type int, and this is going to return. So it's a computed property, and it's going to return emojis dot count. Okay. Next, we can have number of sections. So number of sections, and this is something that is going to be section categories dot count. Okay. So that area is not populated yet, so we're gonna populate it. Now, let's see. So we have our model and everything. So let's take a look. We can initialize, um, and our initializer takes no parameter. And what we need to do is we need to actually, first of all, we need to populate our emojis. So let's go. Emojis is equal to, there is a function that we're going to create, private func populate data, and I'm going to copy paste some code here in a bit, but this is what's going to return to populate data, and this should return an array of emoji data, like so. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to create some emoji data. So I'm gonna copy and paste so we don't type this or you don't watch me type all these things. What we have here is it's just a result variable that creates an emoji data, and this emoji data has three values, uh, this is the same model, and that model has like these three values: index, name, and category. So what it does is basically it populates that as a part of constructor. So uh, index 0 and name, we just putting like emoji there, so apple, and it's edible or not. And once one category is basically complete, then we actually reset the index, and we get animals category and candidates for that category. So we actually populate those, and then we create one for flags. Okay, so there are three categories that we can have. We can have edible, animals, and flags, like we created in our emoji category enum. Okay, so once we have this data created, yeah, the data is populated inside emojis. So this data in the emojis is actually ready for sections to be populated in different sections. Um, so let's go ahead and first create our get a category and populate sections. This section category very well. So we can say emoji category in emoji category dot. This is where we created that. Um, we made that all cases thing. So basically, in our, if you remember, all cases does not confirm. Okay, so let's go ahead and emoji data. It is case iterable. Okay, so I think it needs to be all cases. Yeah, it's my compiler is going crazy, but it's actually small all, so all cases, and this is actually basically how you can iterate over each element of that enumerator, or that enumeration. So we're gonna get that value of the each enumeration inside that emoji category, and we're gonna simply append that into our emoji, append that into the section categories. So if we do it like this, it's not going to work. So what we need to do is we need to get a raw value. So raw value of emoji category. Okay. So once you get raw value of the emoji category, it's converted into a string, and that's actually added inside the section category. All right. Next, we're gonna create a function for number of items per section. Okay, and this takes an index, so we need to find out which section we are talking about, and this returns an, an integer, basically number of items in that section. So let's section name is equal to emoji category, and we can take the raw value. So we take section category, and we get the index, and we basically, so this gives us the name of the category. We actually pass it inside the raw value, and inside this emoji category raw value, and get an enum out, and that enum is assigned into the section name. Okay, so next we simply gonna say return emojis dot filter, and we're gonna filter out we're gonna filter the emoji whose category is equal to the section name that we have chosen here. Okay, and we're gonna get the count for that. So that's gonna be our number of items per section. Okay, so it's going to filter out basically all those items whose categories is equal to the section name. Okay, so we're going to get, like, if it's editable, we're going to get all the editable values. All right, next we're going to get the item. So we can say func item for section at index path, and we're going to pass the index path here. And this actually returns an emoji data. Okay, so section name, emoji category. Once again, we actually get the section categories index path dot item is small I. So we get that value and we extract that section name, and we simply say return emoji. So once again, we're going to filter, and we're going to say emoji, and return emoji dot category is equal to section name. Okay, and then we simply gonna return index path dot item. So this is going to be section. So basically, the way we're going to know item basically for that index path is, first we're going to get the section name. So each section is going to have these four or five values, right? Now when, let's say, index path for section at for item for section at index path. So let's say if we are passed for the zeroth for section 0, for section 0 item 0, then it's going to be referred to edible for the section, and item 0 is apple. Then if it's section 0 and item 1, then it's orange. Section 2, section 0 and item 2 is basically watermelon. So that's why we are actually going to get, this is how we're going to get the, from the section, we're going to get the category, the emoji category, and then from emoji category, once we have that, we can match that, and we're gonna get all the items within that emoji category, and then we're gonna use index path dot item to basically extract that one element of that index out. Okay, so that's how we're gonna basically extract that item out. Okay, so with that, our data source is actually complete. So in the next video, we're gonna start using this data source to populate our collection view. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.